We're getting closer and closer to the unveil of the redesigned Chevy Silverado for the 2027 model year. Now, if you don't remember, we were able to get a redesigned Silverado back in 2018 as a 2019 model. I actually did a video on one early on my channel. And I will say, I wasn't a fan of this generation of Silverado as much as I was the one before it personally. However, this upcoming one is very, very important for GM, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in a second. Now, if you haven't had a chance, be sure to subscribe to the channel. As they come up with updates and as they come to the dealerships, we will be doing some reviews on these trucks, hopefully. And I gotta tell you guys, I have a sugar high right now. I'm probably breathing a little heavy because I'm eating way too much of these gummy bears. It is not a good idea to go to Costco right now because they have some great stuff there. So stay away from Costco until after the holidays. Let's jump into this video. So here's the title. So this is the first time we're seeing the High Country Silverado for the 2027 model year. Now it says here, frequent GM Authority visitors have already seen all kinds of spy photos of the next gen 2027 Silverado 1500 in prototype form, including our first sighting of an integrated tester back in March of the last year, followed by a sighting of the work truck, a clean ZR2 along with a dirty ZR2, and a 2027 Silverado Trail Boss prototype. Now, we are bringing you the very first look at the upcoming 2027 Chevy Silverado High Country, which will remain the range-topping non-luxury model in the lineup. So here's a quick look at the truck here. And what do you guys think so far? I know some people have already had a strong opinion about these taillights here. But let's keep reading. Seen atop a transport trailer, this particular crew cab short box tester is quite different from other 2027 Silverado prototypes we've seen so far in that it has ditched the heavy black camouflage, leaving only the body-hugging graphic wrap to obscure the design from our eyes. What we see very closely matches up to the line art graphic that appeared in a design patent on the United States Patent and Trademarks Office in December. I did do a video on that, by the way. This new 2027 Chevy Silverado High Country prototype very much matches up to the design sketches, confirming their accuracy. Obviously, most people are probably more excited about the ZR2 Trail Boss because off-road is just in right now. Everybody wants an off-road truck. If you go back just 10 years, it used to be ultra luxury. That's why we have trucks like High Country and obviously Denali, Tungsten, Limited, Platinum, you name it. Those trim levels are synonymous for luxury or even just blackout in some cases. But now this High Country has really, really big shoes to fill simply because not many people want this luxury pickup like they used to. Even when I think about my own experience here, I would have loved to have owned a AT4X and a 1-ton truck, but because GM does not build that pickup, I did go down to a 3/4 ton. Obviously, you can get the Ultimate, which gives you pretty much the exact same interior, just in a different color, but it's just not the AT4X. Which is why I hope GM is bringing their A game with this High Country trim. Additionally, the presence of a low-reaching front air dam confirms that this is not an off-road oriented model, as do the Bridgestone Alenza tires typically found on the High Country. Those road-going Alenzas are wrapping a set of multi-spoke wheels that are camouflaged, but have a general spoke pattern similar to the 22-inch wheels on offer in the current model. Now, also noted the massaged mirrors, okay, which now feature a new shape along with a new edgier D-low on the rear door, okay, with a shiny piano black finish and a new cab mounted spoiler which likely integrates the truck's antenna. So right there, and they're talking about some new designs right here. Now they also discuss running boards. These are the fixed running boards that we've seen. Looks like they go wheel to wheel too, which is nice. But they also say they'll probably have the power deployable ones available on this model too, which won't shock me. Now here's another picture. Now real quickly, I want to show you guys. You see the quad tip exhaust that they have? I like this so much better than the current because that's what they've been doing with the Tahoe and in the Suburbans too. Now it says here, one particular angle best shows the new surface development of the rear quarter panels, which now feature a more prominent flare on the box side compared to the current Silverado 1500. The redesigned sliding rear window, which now features a new design can also be clearly seen from this angle. Here's to hoping this will leak substantially less than the one offered on the current Silverado and Sierra, and that is true. These have been prone to leak on the current generation trucks. So far, mine's been great. And then on this picture here, you guys can see, oh yeah, you can see this a lot better. So it does have like a nice gloss to it. Okay. The taillights are taped over to hide the finer details, but we can still clearly see the shape of the taillight cluster that's very similar to the ones first seen on the Silverado EV. Between those taillights is a regular tailgate, though we fully expect the multi-flex tailgate to remain an option on the 2027 Silverado. So yeah, you can really see some of the indentions right there too on that tailgate. But yeah, they're definitely still hiding a lot of the details of this truck. Lower on at the rear is a new bumper with revised corner step cutouts, quad tip exhaust, and a newly shaped center step. Okay. And then here's that patent that they had released a few months back. Sorry guys, that was a little boring, and I apologize because nothing is exciting anymore about High Country. The last cool thing they did was add the blackout package to the High Country, which I thought was really nice. I did a video on it last year, I believe. But apart from that, what has been exciting about this trim level? The times have changed yet again. I think the boomers were responsible for these luxury, and I mean ultra luxury pickup trucks, because they've only gotten better over the years. I want to say sometime in the mid 2000s, early 2010s, we start seeing these really nice interiors. Like it used to be Lariat from Ford, LTZ obviously from GM, and then Denali came in I think in the 2010s. And now we have High Country, we have Ultimate, we have Tungsten from Ram, we have Platinum Plus from Ford. But what do these trim levels really offer potential buyers of today? Because that's where the issue is. Let me show you guys something really quickly. This is what most buyers want today. When I go to dealerships, especially Chevy, I see a lot of Trail Boss trim levels. I'm seeing more and more ZR2 trim levels too. And remember, ZR2 costs more than High Country, right? So what does the High Country really offer today's buyers? Because as I said earlier, the boomers were the ones wanting that more luxury pickup truck because they wanted something more comfortable. They wanted the air suspension. Ram's obviously the only truck that offers that, with the exception of Toyota because they do give you air suspension in the rear. But yes, today buyers want a rugged exterior with a really nice interior. And I don't know how the High Country is going to fit in today's market, because I feel as though you see a lot more of those more off-road oriented pickup trucks. So maybe that's something GM should consider, is offering a package on a High Country that gives it a more off-road rugged look, just in case someone may not like the idea of the ZR2 interior, or the fact that maybe someone may not care for the Trail Boss interior as well, because it is built on an LT platform. So yes, I think that the High Country shouldn't just come out as the exact same truck as it's always been, because that's not going to really capture any market share for GM. And as I mentioned, that truck can get up to $80,000 easily, which can put it closer in the territory of a Denali Ultimate, and of course Ram's Limited and Tungsten trim levels too, after discounts that is. But yeah, I think that with them discontinuing the LTZ trim, that should be a sheer wake-up call for, hey, the High Country can be on the chopping block if you continue to build it as you've always built it. With the addition of the blackout package on the High Country, that definitely will help those younger buyers, because people do like the idea of being able to buy a truck like that, all blacked out, and then adding their own lift and adding their own wheels and tires to it to make it what they want. But some people just want to buy the truck from the factory as is, not having to add anything to it. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. When I saw that they were bringing out the High Country again, I was really hoping there was going to be some big updates on that truck. But I'm telling you guys, GM could definitely take more market share if they use the high country to their advantage. You already have the ZR2, and that's nice. Some people like that more rugged interior. As I said earlier, the Trail Boss doesn't come in an LTZ, right? So it only comes in that LT trim level, so they should make an off-road package for the high country. And if they do something like that, where it can basically add on the Trail Boss package to the high country, because that's kind of what they do on the Silverado HDs. You can get the Trail Boss package on LT and LTZ, and then that way you kind of get that blackout and you get that more rugged look with the more aggressive tires, and of course the Z71 package too. But it's going to come down to what the market says. There was a time when the minivan was super, super popular. I remember almost all my friends, their moms had minivans. My mom had a minivan. My mom has had several minivans. And when I look back on it, my mom drives an SUV. Same thing goes with the sedan. There was a time when the sedan was very, very popular. Anyone remember the Lincoln Town Cars? The Chevy Impalas? Like, those were very, very popular cars when I was a kid. You don't see those cars anymore. As a matter of fact, the Lexus LS is pretty much in its last year, which is very sad, because that was one of the greatest sedans of my time, I would say, because that car came out in the 80s, I believe, or early 90s maybe. And so when you consider the fact that things are changing yet again, what is GM going to do to capture more market share? Because it is very, very crowded today. There's a lot of great options in the market today. How is Chevy going to take some of that market share? And that's kind of why I did this video. Like, I wasn't really caring to do a video on the high country because there's nothing exciting about that. As a matter of fact, if you go through some of my videos, I haven't done a lot of half-ton high country because most people want to see ZR2. Most people want to see Trail Boss. And I've done quite a few of those videos because that's what people are really looking for in the marketplace. So is GM going to respond, or are they going to keep doing what they've always done? We'll have to wait and see.